Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I've been very quiet on here. It's been a bit of a crazy year. I haven't posted, maybe it's been longer, I can't remember, but I haven't posted on YouTube for quite some time. And I've just been very distracted with my photography and I haven't really had a chance to do anything on my channel. So I thought I'm going to bring it back to life with some interesting stuff that I like watching, and I think you guys might as well. So this is going to be a video about my favorite apps or photography apps on my iPhone or phone in general, just to share with you, because I'm always interested, especially even my friends' phones, being like, what apps are you using? I am well known for loving a good app. If there's something that can be done, I check and see if it can be if an app is available. So it's definitely one of my things that I love learning and knowing about. So I thought I'd show you what I have on my phone and just run through basically what's available. So obviously it's down to you whether you like this video or not. Carry on watching. If not, it's just chill, whatever floats your boat. But I'm going to go through and start showing you my phone. Now, people hate the fact that there is like notifications still here. Now, it's actually my birthday today, so there is a lot of notifications going off, but I know it annoys some people, and I have pages and pages of stuff, but I won't go through all of them just because I'd be here for hours. So this is pretty much my phone. As you'll see, I'm going to have it displayed somewhere along here. And then I'm going to talk you through basically my favourite apps. So just to talk you through at the moment, I've got quite a variation on my front screen. And like I said, I've got a couple of different screens for different things. I think one screen is just purely purchases or food. And then another screen is more games and just ad hoc-y stuff that just doesn't have a place to stay. So I'm going to talk you through really my photography one, because I think that's the one that I absolutely love the most. I think they're sort of dosed about in two different albums, but I'm going to sort of go through and give you a bit of an idea of what is in my folder for my photography. So I have them all collated together. Let me start from the main screen. I have my Lightroom available, which I use every day for everything. I do hop and back and forth from Visco to Lightroom, but this I use, and it's nice to pre-edit and then of course go into your desktop version and then just obviously tidy up and neaten up and add what you need to that you can't do on phone. So this is my Lightroom. I love it. It's 100% worth buying or having the monthly subscription, where I think it's like a tenner a month. But I love using it on the go, especially if it's just for iPhone photos. And it's just brilliant. So that's always sat on my front screen. Next door to that, you'll see is Camera Connect. It won't connect at the moment, but that is my Canon Connect. So whenever I'm viewing photos or want to remotely control from my phone, it's super clever. But the Canon 16 Mark II that I've got will connect to it via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, I think, and you can control your camera and view your images, which is really nice to have on the go. But also it's good if you want to quickly get one uploaded and you don't have your laptop, you can just whiz it across, chuck it in Lightroom, and then pop it on Instagram. So it's super handy to have that on your phone if you have a Canon. So this is my folder, and I primarily use this more for like editing, cutting, framing and everything else. So first thing I have is Facetune. Now I don't use Facetune anymore. Back in the day when I did makeup, I used to use it quite a lot, and it's just good to kind of whiten teeth and smooth out. It's really quite a simple broken down Photoshop, but after time I just didn't quite enjoy using it. It was really good if I was taking photos of eyeshadow looks, so just close up of my eye, and actually it's quite good for tuning and tweaking little bits here and adding a little bit more colour if it sort of faded or saturated or desaturated. So it's good for that, but I don't use it as much now, but it's always sat there just in case I want to do a quick edit, but I don't go full on with that because it can look a little bit too face tuned. I have my QuickBooks next, which is for my invoicing. It's really good. I definitely highly rate it. So whenever my clients are asking for the invoice or I'm chasing payments, then QuickBooks is brilliant. It's really clever where you can basically go in and see obviously all your payments and bits to go with it. You can send invoices, you can send sales receipts, and you can track your expenditure. So it's very clever for that. Next to that is YouCam Makeup. I think my friend Ellis that I used to work with back in the day recommended or told me about this, and I was amazed. It really does do a lot of change into your makeup. I do use it just to brighten eyes up or make them a little bit wider. So if you're looking a bit tired, it's good to sort of add a bit of a darker skin tone if you want to look more tanned to an image. But it's very much like face tune, where it can look quite full on and too tuned. So it's really there for fun. I don't tend to use it as much really, but it's always sat in there just in case I want to put a little bit more of a tan on, which I can do in Lightroom, I know that, but it's just a bit more reachable to have on my phone. Next is Boomerang. I'm sure everyone's really familiar with Boomerang. It's built into Instagram now. It's part of the whole setup. So it's just good to have separately in case you want to sort of do some editing, or just do separate boomerangs and load them or save them. It's good to have. Unum, which I really get on quite well with. So I have my my work account and my main account, and it's just good. I don't really send images off from this because you can schedule a reminder so that you get told at the best time when your sort of busiest audience traffic is happening. You can send it off basically. So the best time your analytics are high, then you can schedule to remind yourself to send them, which I used to do, but I'm just a bit more relaxed now because Instagram is getting very picky. So I just use this to store images that I know I want to post up at some point, but I don't want to have to flick through Lightroom or my albums to try and find it when I just want to put one up. And also I tend to put a bunch in there beforehand so that I can see how they all sit together, which is really good to do because sometimes when you put a picture up on your Instagram, it just doesn't sit nicely next to the next picture. Not saying that pictures are awful looking, it's just the colorways sometimes tend to clash a little bit. So it's quite good to have this so that you can situate photos and see which ones are best to post up next, and obviously not duplicate the same person, which I don't like doing. So I tend to have a bit of a variation. I know others have different layouts. I'm not a fan of like 3 in a row or 5 in a row. I did used to post up I think 6 or more of like one shoot, and then realized it was just not very engaging. So I now just do randoms and I chuck in a few things, different ones here. So as you can see, I've done some work for Gutlash, and as you go further onto my feed, which I'll link somewhere here, you'll notice that I chuck in like baby photos or branding or business, just so that it's not all social media, because I do that, but I do other things as well. So that is Unum. It is great for other things as well, but primarily I use it for layout and just seeing how photos will look when I post them. Canvas or Canva, I get really difficult not trying to call it Canvas, but Canva is a really good one for templates for Instagram posts, Instagram stories, logos, business cards, invites. It's actually really, really good because it sets up the font or typography, it sets up the layouts and the stock photos that you could use, and then you can just re-edit and tweak what you want. I think this is brilliant. I don't know how I came across it, but I needed something to promote my availability, and when I came across this, there was just so much variation, like even business cards. Like, it's really impressive. So I'd recommend, if you're someone that likes to post up a bit more than just a photo but text and talk, then this is the place to look into something a bit different. But it's got heaps on here, like Pinterest graphics, and it's just a nice template app for any kind of layout you may need. So definitely worth if you're looking into a bit more of an easier application to upgrading any form of advertisement, or even just like invites or business cards. Check them out, it's definitely worth it. There's so much that they've actually added a lot more since I've looked, and there's so much that you can create from what is available, and you can tweak them. So yeah, Canva I really enjoy, and I use it thoroughly. It's my go-to. Next is, well, probably every person and their nan knows this, but this is Visco. Again, I don't tend to touch base with it a lot, and you can probably tell because I still have pictures from here from about a year ago, maybe less. So I never really use this as much. The most I use it for is for video. I love how you can see my face. I was bored in the bath. Let's move on. But you can upload like videos to this. So as you can tell on here, I've edited some recent videos that I posted about a shoot I was doing, a little bit about the snow. So it's good for that, because some of the presets or edits that they have on there that you can tweak look so nice on video. It's worth doing that if you want to make your Instagram videos, or just generally your stories, look a bit nicer and just look a little bit more different with a lovely tone to it. It's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, it's nice and easy. The quality does go down a little bit, so you have to sort of balance the sharpness of the video sometimes, but it's not going to be high quality. It's just there for a really cute Instagram story or Instagram post if you prefer. But yeah, I love Visco for the simple reasons of the video editing. Next we have, and I'm bearing in mind we've got about 3 more pages, bear with me. Next we have is Unfold. Now I still like Unfold. It is brilliant. Unfold is basically it's very similar to Canva, as you've seen, but with Unfold you have still have templates that you can choose, so you can flick. I mean, these are the ones that or similar stories that I've created over time, but you basically sort of choose a template. It's very broken down. You can add what you want in, whereas with Canva there's already stock photos in that you can tweak, and there's a lot more additional things like brush strokes and font and line work that just looks a bit more sort of different. So this is very broken down, I feel, but I know that everyone has this and is using this, but it's just nice to have. So you can use all your different templates, and then you can obviously add your photos in and add your font. So it is lovely, but I definitely think there's other apps out there that are stepping up, and for me that's Canva. But this I use from time to time, mostly for like my music uploads, or just for really simple ones that I just want to chuck on, which is really lovely to have. So yeah, definitely worth, if you haven't checked it out. Unfold is good for just really nice stories to post up, or even Instagram post if you prefer. The next we have is Snapseed. Now I noticed a while ago a person, I don't remember who it was, but they were using Snapseed to edit, and I realised that some of the things you can do on Snapseed is much more advanced as Visco, or any kind of like Afterlight, any sort of apps like that. So there was a lot more you could do to it, and actually a lot of big Instagrammers which only shot on iPhone were producing these beautifully edited photos that were just done on Snapseed. So I have it from time to time. I'll show you a little bit about it. I don't really touch base, and I haven't touched base with it for a while, but let's bring up a photo. Ignore my face. Here we go. A little selfie from earlier. But you can add loads of different looks to it. Oh, that's a bit extreme. But you can add already built-in filters if you prefer. So let's go for portrait, nice and simple. And then you can, I believe, use the tools. Now the tools are the one thing that got me interested. There's a lot of tools on here that you can see that just do a little bit extra than usual. I wouldn't say I use all of them. You're not really designed to do that, because that would make the picture look completely not organic at all. You just want to use bits of it to it. It's very much like a Lightroom, but a little bit more relaxed looking. It doesn't look as fancy, I'd say, but it's definitely good if you want to sort of tweak a few things and just have the benefits of what Lightroom can do, but not pay £10 a month. So yeah, I do like Snapseed. I've heard some great things. I use it from time to time, not much, but it's definitely good if you want to do a lovely smooth edit. My next page, we're getting through them. My next page is we've got focus, but I think it's focus. So this is brilliant, and I'll give you an example. So if you have the iPhone 7 Plus up, I think it is, you will have the portrait mode on your phone, which allows you to basically, with the idea behind the two, point at the right cameras, but the two lenses, is that you will be able to get the bokeh blurred background effect. So the idea behind these phones now is that it will focus on the front, and also the second camera lens will focus on the back, so it produces that sort of slight bokeh, so it can give you the 1.4 f-stop if you prefer it. But the great thing with this app is that it allows you to choose how much blurriness you want the background to be. I think I told my friend Sarah about this, but I don't know how I got onto it. But it's beautiful because you can also choose as well on the image, and I'll show you which bits you want focused and which bits you don't. So this is an example. This is a clear example of basically me midway through my day of shooting trying to get a bit of food in. So this is what I took a while ago in Bath. So as you can see, if you whatever you press, it pulls the focus on, which is really, really clever. It's designed to basically allow you to choose what you like focused on, because sometimes the iPhone won't always choose that, but it will still take a picture and allow you to have that bokeh effect. But this is quite nice, so you get to choose what you want. So I'm going to say the burger's in focus. This little one is obviously the further down the line the further left you go is higher, which means of course it allows everything to be in focus. And if you go the other way, it's going to be on, I believe, 1.4, which is where most of the background is super blurry and the foreground and the focus is in is sharp and easy to see. So I tend to use this when I want to I still play about with what's in focus, and I tend to like to do this if I want more of the background blurred, just to make it nice and neat. And a lot of time I do this and people think it's done by my camera, but no, it's done by the phone. So it's a really clever thing. You can add highlights and shapes and everything else, but really I use it for the aperture so that I can really play about with that perfect portrait photo that I've taken and post it up really nicely. So I'd recommend, this is really good if you've got, I believe it's from the 7 Plus up. But if you do have the two lens iPhone, then it's worth getting this because it's really fun to play with. Next I have Power Clean. It's really good. I remember back in the day you used to be able to, if your memory filled up, which iPhones now are huge so they don't really have that problem, but if you had a really old iPhone and it filled up with memory, you would find that you'd have to I used to download the biggest film I could, but not completely download it, because what the idea did behind iTunes is that you download a 3-hour film, it behind the scenes clear out all the cache and cookies and all the rubbish that the iPhone just stores up over time, and then you cancel the actual order for the movie, and then you just don't purchase it and you've made space. I think over time they realised that was happening, and I actually paid for Lord of the Rings, which was fine, but I was like, oh, it can't be done anymore. So this is quite good to have. I think it's free. It's just a really good one to have when you just want to do a bit of a wipe clean. It doesn't involve deleting your photos. It just deletes cache files and cookies and stuff, and just basically garbage that stores up from apps that doesn't need to be on there. So it will tell you what it can clean and how much it does. So it's really handy if you want to have it and you have a smaller maybe iPhone where the memory is not as big. It's good to use to clear out. The other one I've got is Photoshop Fix, which is more for it's like Photoshop, but it's not. And I cannot wait to the day they said this last year that they would make iPhone and iPad, I believe, the Photoshop app exactly like a desktop, which once that day comes by can make my life a lot easier to editing on the go. But they haven't. But the Photoshop Fix is something that's quite good to use when you just want to tweak a few things, but I don't think it's that great. But I sit it there for every so often if I do need to reach out for it. Afterlight is, I think everyone had this back in like 2012, but again, it's basically designed to be, let me give you a bit of an example. My mug this morning from my housemate, thank you. Not my mug, but she made me a tea as a birthday treat. But this is just good to basically do very similar to Visco, very similar to Instagram edits, but it's got a lot of layering, so you can add layers on. So what's quite good is it gives you light streaks, which I really like using actually. So you get that kind of sort of ever so slight 35mm film light streak. The one day I film and there's literally like roadwork, so I do apologise if you can hear that. Not much I can do about it, but hopefully it stops. Out of all the days, how rude. But yes, you can add light streaks to it, and then also what's quite good as well is you can add dust. So how you would get on a old 35mm film camera or digital is sometimes the dust in front of it will show, and also as well if you get like wear and tear over time, you get that kind of crackle effect, which is lovely. But obviously now in the digital world, it's not neat. But this is quite nice to add on so that you can do like little sort of streaks and marks and stuff. It just gives a bit more texture to an image, and I actually really like this effect. Even though it looks messy, it looks very different, and it just brings a bit of an old school feel to it. So I like doing that when I add it to my stories. I don't do it to my clients' photos because that's their choice. That's not something that I will do as part of the package, but for fun stories and posting pictures up, it's definitely good to add on. So that's what I use Afterlight for. There is more things you can do, like very basic tweaking, but I like the layering and that you can add on. Now Rise On is really good. When I used to live in a really tall flat, this was brilliant. Rise On is basically an app that's designed to let you know where you are, what time the sun sets, and what time dusk and twilight kicks in, and dawn and the opposite. Let me show you on the app. So at the moment it's showing daytime. It will tell you when you move the actual dial that about golden hour, that's what I was trying to say. So golden hour is at 4:55 this evening. So it allows you to go out to places and shoot sunsets, or just enjoy them if you don't want to shoot them. So it allows you to be able to work out the best time to shoot, especially if you're doing a shoot in the evening or midday, and you want to know when the golden hour kicks in so you don't get caught out, or if you like the golden hour look, to know when to obviously start shooting. And it lets you know when twilight kicks in, which is also quite a nice like dusk effect, and of course moonlight, and it goes right back around to twilight and then golden hour and then daylight. So it's a really fun app, and I used to use it quite a lot. It would mean me chasing home, trying to make sure that I get home in time so I can go out and shoot, but it's very good for that and I really enjoy it. So from time to time I tend to use that if I want to get the perfect picture and know, especially in the summertime, when the sun's going to be dropping, so that I know how to control my light. Layout's quite easy and simple. I keep seeing my face just peeking up. It's just designed to lay out your images, so not that exciting to talk about. Gudak, I'm sure everyone has had this in their time. It's very similar to the Huji. Oh, I must be wrong with the Huja. I'll show you in a bit. It's on the actual folder, but this is very similar. However, you have to wait, which is really clever. I think it's like 24 hours or maybe 3 hours, but either way, you literally like take camera is there, but you take the picture and then it basically develops it over time, and then of course you get it back, and it has random streaks and fleeks and flares and dust bits in it, so it's designed to look and feel like a 35mm camera, like a disposable one. So it's a really fun app, and it gives you patience to wait to find out how the photos turned out. So it's definitely worth doing if you want to have that effect, because nowadays trying to develop photos from a 35mm or disposable is hard work. So yeah, it's definitely not easy, but it's fun when you have that. Huji, that's what I was trying to explain. So Huji is very similar, however it will produce the photo straight away, so you can add a photo to the actual selection, or to then add the effect, or you can take a photo and it does it for you. So I quite like using this from time to time, not always, because it's not my favorite thing to play with. like it really isn't, but it's just fun to have in case I want to do some fun photos in the summer especially. Cut story is what I use for my Instagram. So luckily recently Instagram updated it so that you could record a video and it would cut it into 15-second segments. I realise now that they stop at a minute and then it cuts you off. So if you are basically loading a video, so I record it on my phone and then I chuck it in and then I edit it, then I chuck it into Instagram, and if it's more than a minute it will just cut it off and not actually use the remaining. So I then I record the video on my actual camera on here through the normal camera app. I then go into Visco and edit it. I then go into cut story and cut it by minutes. So it now allows you to do it by minute, not by 15, because that would be long. And then you go back into Instagram and load them up in order. So it's really good for just cutting it down. But I love using this because I like to edit my video in Visco, because it's nicer. It just matches my feed. So it's designed to basically cut your stories and allow you to be able to essentially allow you to upload Instagram stories better without being cut off, which is ideal. So absolutely love that one. Next is my website. It's just good to have if I want to reach out and basically go on there to see how it looks, how it sits. It also means that I can check if it's looking decent and if I need to change it. So it's just nice to have there. And yeah, just view if I need to or show someone. Colour story I don't really touch base with, but again, this one I do more, I'd say, for checking out, let's get a picture up of my face again, more for checking out again those effects. So the flare and bokeh is really good, and also as well I would say is the textures are quite good as well. So it's just good for that, but I never really sort of go onto that app as much as I would with my other ones. So it's just more for there in case I fancy a bit of a change. PS Express is Photoshop, but again, as I mentioned, we don't really have like there's not much I can do on it. Like we don't have the full access to Photoshop like we do on desktop, so I don't really sort of tend to play with that one as much. Voice memos is what I am recording this guy on, so it's part of Apple, so I have that just for making my videos. Unfollow I actually got recently because Instagram did quite a big culling and got loads of people's accounts like numbers down, whether it was a clear out, either way it really kind of surprised me. So I have this to see all my stalkers, all my secret admirers, all my unfollows, all my ghost follows, and then obviously ones that don't follow me in general. So it just gives me a good understanding of my analytics, and obviously gives me an idea of how I can track better. And a point fix is really good. So it is linked up to your calendar on your phone, and essentially you can send text reminders to clients or people about a certain appointment or date so that they know about the next shoot going ahead. This is getting 10 times worse, so I'm going to wrap it up because out of all days I try and record, it is hectic out there. They are making a mess of the area. Either way, back to this. So this is more designed to basically send reminders to clients so that I can tell them, heads up, on this date in 2 days you have your shoot booked in, please let me know if you need to cancel. So it's good for that because as much as I'm busy, they are also busy as well. I want to make sure that they are just reminded that they have something happening, because we all have hectic lives. And that is my app. That's my apps. That's what I've got. I hope you guys find this interesting. It is a little different. It is a welcome back to the big time off that I've had from YouTube, but I just want to make these now because this is what I really love. If you have anything that you think I should start talking about, then let me know. I'm happy to make more videos, but this is basically what I love to discuss. And let me know if you have any favorite apps that you would like to recommend. I'm always interested to know what is out there, and yeah, let me know if this is any good. Give me a thumbs up if it's good. If it's shit, fair enough, a thumbs down, but it'd be good to know whether this will be an interest to anyone in the future. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's been a delight to be back on YouTube. I feel like it's been a long time coming, and it's my birthday today, so I'm gonna go and eat some food and go to the cinema. So I hope you guys have a great Valentine's wherever you are in the world, and also if it's your birthday, happy birthday as well. And keep your eyes peeled for more videos, because I hopefully want to make more, probably when it's not like shit happening outside. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.